Tate Meagher of the Meagher Law Office here, Kentucky personal injury attorney. I'm here today to talk about what makes a good personal injury case. When I say good, all I mean is it has significant value to it. First thing you'll see in any of these types of injury cases where there's significant value is that unfortunately there's bad injuries involved. You know, maybe you're going to have to be in a walker for the rest of your use a walker for the rest of your life, or you're going to have to use a wheelchair for the rest of your life. The worse the injuries, the more potential the injury case has as far as value. So, second thing I look at is that the injuries are clearly related to the accident. That makes for a easier, better value injury case. Now, lots of type of injuries that are objective in nature, those are usually easy to show that they're related to the accident. So broken bones, bruising, lacerations, dog bites in a dog bite case, those are objective injuries. It's easy to show that those are related to the accident. Pre-existing, if the person had pre-existing conditions, on the other hand, maybe to their back, neck, or something like that, that might not be as easy to show that it's related to the accident, and usually the defense will argue, or the insurance company will argue, that they're not conditions related to the accident. Now, as a personal injury attorney, what I would always do in those situations is argue that the pre-existing conditions were aggravated or exacerbated by the accident. Third thing that makes for a good personal injury case is big damages. So the most common types of damages you can recover in an injury case include medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. So obviously if you have bad injuries, you're probably going to have a lot of medical expenses. That makes for a better injury case. If you have bad injuries, you're maybe going to have to be out of work for a long time, or maybe you can't work at all in the future. So you can also get future wages, future lost wages as well. Future pain and suffering as well. Again, the worse the injuries, the more likely the bigger damages are going to be, which makes for a better, more significant value injury case. Fourth thing to look for as to what makes a good personal injury case is clear liability. The defendant was clearly liable for the accident. So, for instance, in a motor vehicle accident, you're stopped when you're rear-ended. That's clear liability. The other driver is clearly at fault. In a slip and fall, trip and fall case, there are some cases where it's pretty clear liability in those, but a lot of the times they try to argue that the plaintiff has some liability as well for those types of accidents. But there are some scenarios, depending on the facts, that where there's good facts for liability for the plaintiff, but they're not quite as clear cut as maybe a car accident case where you're rear-ended after you're stopped. Dog bite cases, dog owners are strictly liable for any injuries they cause to you. So what does this mean? That means that the dog owner is automatically liable for any injuries due to their dog biting you. So, now, one thing I will mention though is that the dog owner can rebut this strict liability by arguing that the plaintiff, you, had at least some negligence in leading to the dog to bite you. Maybe you were teasing the dog, maybe you were acting in a way that led for the dog to want to bite you, and due to your actions, you weren't being maybe as cautious as you should have been. But again, if you've been bitten by a dog, typically this strict liability, it's a very strong argument that there's clear liability against the dog owner. Next thing I look at for a good personal injury case is there deep pockets to pursue? And what I mean by that is there a lot of insurance, or does the defendant, have deep pockets, a lot of money, a lot of coverage at stake? So in Kentucky, for car accident cases, the state minimum limits are $25,000 per person and $50,000 per accident. So that's the minimum insurance somebody might is required by law to have. Now, I know not everybody has car insurance, but that kind of leads me to the next point, in that you want to pursue every possible insurance out there. So make sure that you're pursuing, in a car accident case, you're pursuing the uninsured motorist coverage if the other driver didn't have any. If you had some on your policy, what is known as underinsured motorist coverage, you can pursue that. Underinsured motorist coverage, if the other driver didn't have enough insurance, make sure you file what is called an underinsured motorist claims. Slip and fall cases, trip and fall cases on business premises, these types of cases, there's typically plenty of insurance to pursue or coverage. That's because businesses typically have commercial insurance policies with large insurance limits, or they're self-insured. If it's a huge company that's self-insured, there's going to be plenty of coverage there. Dog bite cases can be a bit tricky, and it can be a bit difficult to track down any insurance in dog bite cases, but again, usually there's clear liability against a dog owner, but do they have homeowners insurance? And if they do, is there an exclusion in it that would prevent you from recovering due to an animal attack or a dog bite? Sometimes there's exclusions within the policy. Now, what if the dog owner is a tenant? They're renting the place. Do they have any renter's insurance? And again, even if they have renter's insurance, is there any type of an exclusion in it that would prevent you from recovering, or for the insurance company to provide coverage to you due to the dog bite and your injury sustained? I would highly suggest, if you've sustained a dog bite, that this be investigated. How much insurance is there potentially at stake here? So anyways, thanks for watching, and remember, don't wait. Call Tate if you've been involved in any type of accident in Kentucky and injured. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch more of my videos. Thanks.